There's a war happening right now inside the FDA. It's got a secret list. It's got renegade scientists. It's got influencers with syringes. And at the center of it is a molecule you might not have even heard of a year ago, the peptide. This week, an FDA panel voted on whether your pharmacy should be allowed to make these things, and it was close. RFK Jr. wanted one answer, the FDA's own scientists wanted another. So today, trainer Surgeon Ignatz tells me what peptide actually is, why half the internet is injecting them, why the government's fighting about it, and what a normal person should do. Spoiler, it involves your doctor, not a DM to a guy named Chad. I'm Pete Wright. He's Surgeon Ignatz. This is Build for Health. Hi, here we go.
Hello.
Everybody's talking about it. This is the thing. I don't know why you wanted to do this. You wanted to wade into this conversation. So here we are. Start me at zero, please.
So,
what is a peptide?
Okay, so to understand peptides, it helps to compare them to like a traditional drug. Okay. So many medications are what's called like small molecules, and they're tiny chemical compounds, usually taken as pills, right? That can have broad effect throughout the body. Now, peptides are different. So they're made from short chains of amino acids, the same building blocks your body uses to make proteins. Mm-hmm. So think of amino acids like Legos, like Lego bricks. So when you snap a handful of those bricks together, you create the peptide. So string many more together and you get a protein. Okay. So the scientists can design these small protein fragments to interact with the very specific receptors in the body. So instead of affecting, lots of different systems, peptides are often designed to target one particular pathway or one specific cell type. So the easiest way to think about this is a peptide is like a custom-made key that's designed to fit one very specific lock. So when it finds that lock, a receptor on the cell, it unlocks a specific biological response. So whether that's stimulating growth hormone, regulate appetite, or helping coordinate tissue repair, can be many other things.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what peptide is. So it's a chain of amino acids.
So a chain of amino acids. So one of the things, you and I were just training like hours ago, and one of the things that you said with some enthusiasm is insulin and Ozempic are peptides, right? They're all peptides.
Yeah.
Why does it's a peptide tell me nothing about whether it's safe? Because that appears to be what everybody's talking about. This is like the basil versus nightshade point. Like they're both plants. One is dinner and one is poison. So why are we fighting about peptides right now?
Well, that's crazy to me. Like, I don't know why, like Ozempic, which is a peptide, it's, FDA-approved, but the ones that, will help you with the muscle tissue repair, like the ones that I'm actually going to try to get in about a couple of weeks when I go see my doctor, like BPC-157 and TB-500, those two are known to be for a muscle repair. Okay. So it's like they're banned, but the Ozempic is not. And we've seen what Ozempic does, and we've talked about it a little bit.
We have
everything and the side effects, and people coming out and saying what they've seen and what they're experiencing and all that stuff. So there are a lot of side effects, and people, if you use them in the wrong way for the wrong reasons, you're going to get those side effects, right?
Yeah.
So this is kind of, I think, the same thing. All these other peptides, if they're used in the right way and for the right reasons, they can be very, very beneficial, right?
Yeah.
It's just that some of these, peptides, they've been prescribing them since 2013, 14, for over 10 years. They've been out there. You've been getting them from the doctor. You just have to go through a compound pharmacy to get them.
Mm-hmm.
So now that's where the kind of work comes in, the compound pharmacies, big pharma, FDA,
Yeah.
who's getting money for it, who's not, and all that stuff. So that plays a huge role in all this stuff. But all these peptides, they're actually very effective.
Well, and so this, I mean, it gets to, I think you've already answered one of my questions was, do we consider a peptide closer to a supplement or closer to a drug? And I think you said this is closer to a drug.
Yes, it's closer to a drug.
Okay.
But it's a lot more like safer. It's more targeted,
Yeah. So if people have been injecting these, compounding them since 2013 or so, great. But why is it all of a sudden that people are chasing these peptides down? It seems like this is just, I'm finally seeing the wave that has been cresting behind me for 10 years. What is it that people are chasing when they're chasing these peptides? What can these Lego bricks do?
I mean, they do help a lot. There are a lot of benefits. It's just you still had to get the prescription from the doctor. Like you couldn't just, get them anywhere, whatever, however you wanted it. Now you can do that because now they're banning them. And now all these other companies are coming out and be like, hey, we are selling them. We have them. But, they're labeling it as used for the research purposes, so that nobody can come after them, So that's like, but all these other companies, you don't really know much about them. Are they like third party tested or like how good they are, how legit and standardized they are. It's like, going to a gas station and getting a sushi and, are you going to get a little stomachache from it?
Yeah, gas
it's going to
station
hurt or
sushi.
not? It might work. Yeah, exactly. So that's that's how it comes down. But now trying to ban them so they can't even get them from the compound pharmacies. That's completely different. Like all of a sudden in 2023, I found out I did a little research that they start putting bans on some of these, and the doctors were not able to prescribe them, or FDA start putting some restrictions on them.
Right.
And then a lot of doctors didn't want to deal with all that stuff, so they stopped prescribing them and saying, "Well, I can't do it. Some other ones will prescribe them." Right. So. And even compound pharmacists were be like, well, we can't now do it because FDA banned those now. So it's a huge issue now.
How did this come up in your circles? Like, are we seeing, did this catch fire because of the fitness, the lifting audience? Is this why this is coming up now? Because we have legislators who are particularly into, fitness, strength.
It's physique. Not just the fitness. I mean, NFL, NBA, all these athletes, they've been using them for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, for the recovery, to speed up the recovery. I mean, you see a lot of, athletes get hurt, and before you know it, they're back on the field, back on the court, and all that stuff. And it's just like, man, I wish I could recover that fast. But they get help, peptides. That's how I got interested in actually getting some after I hurt my arm, broke my bone, and hurt my shoulder and all that stuff. I'm like, okay, this is going to take a long time. This is a little bit more serious injury than when I would tear a muscle here and there, like just a soft tissue. And I can recover faster. I don't need this stuff. But now, this could help me. So then I started getting into this, and I'm like, oh, all of a sudden you can't really get them that easily. Like before, it was okay, it was fine. And that's why a lot of bodybuilders, and that's how they got into bodybuilding, it helps them recover faster from their injuries and things like that. And then there's also some peptides that will help them in the muscle growth.
Sure.
There's a lot of those things that that it doesn't really directly help the muscle to grow. You still have to go to gym, you still have to lift weights and all that stuff. So the way they do it is they signal your pituitary gland to release more of your body's own natural growth hormone. So that can lead into a higher levels of IGF-1, and that's another peptide. Now that's the only one that's actually a hormone that's involved in actual muscle repair, recovery, collagen production, bone remodeling, and fat metabolism. So, it works a little bit differently than all the other peptides, but a lot of them are very more popular in the bodybuilding now. So think of it, that GLP-1,
the GLP-1,
the hormone, it's a hormone that your body naturally produces in response to the growth hormone. So think of a growth hormone as a coach, and the GLP-1 is as a player that gets the job done. So it helps.
I can see it. Like it's a really alluring proposition, right? That the story is, look, heal faster, rebuild after injury, age slower, cutting edge science, and it seems like the other side of this is saying, look, we're just way out ahead of the evidence, that there are some more conservative academics and researchers in the medical community who are saying we just don't know. That's my understanding of it.
Yes, that's right? One of the main reasons why they're banning it, because they don't have enough evidence on humans. They haven't tested on humans, but they had this whole time to test on humans. Like, why haven't they tested on humans when they had such great results on animals? Like, they tested on Ozempic, but not all the other ones. But they've been prescribing them for a long time already. The athletes been using them, for years, decades. I mean, there's a lot of these peptides. It's not just for the recovery. There are some that will, help your skin, your gut health, your, sleep, improve the sleep, and all these things. There's so many different types of peptides that are out there. And they're trying to ban all of these and saying, well, we haven't really tested them on humans, so we don't really know what's going to be. They're not saying they're bad, but they just say, we don't know.
Well, and just a sidebar on what happened as we record this. It just happened today, as you're listening to this last week. The FDA panel did vote to let pharmacies make some of these compounds, and what the vote actually does and does not do is important, right? The big one is that legal to compound does not mean FDA approved. Right. It's legal to make the thing, but it's not an approved substance by the FDA. I look at it like I'm thinking about the best honest argument, I think, for loosening access is something we've seen time and again, which is cutting off a legal supply of the substance in an area where there is high demand. Just pushes people to sketchy overseas gray markets again and again and again. We've seen it again and again and again, and we're still seeing it with gas station sushi and supplements. On the other side are the FDA scientists who are saying, like, their argument for not enough evidence. There's just no big, as you said, no big human trials. Legal ends up to compound gets sold as endorsed. And that is a thing people are really nervous about on the panel, that the folks who are really advocating for these things to be legal to compound don't want it to be represented as everybody's okay with this. It's endorsed by the FDA. And some of the panel members on this thing are people who work in the peptide industry as marketers. And I wonder how much that should color how we read into this. There's a lot of uncertainty, and it honestly feels like there's no clean good guy here, right? Everybody is fighting over the same missing data. And in the meantime, these things are actively helping people, it sounds like, to recover, to rebuild, and achieve their goals.
Yeah.
Is that all? Does that all ring fair to you? Am I overstating, understating anything that you're hearing?
No, I mean, I know a lot of people that have used these peptides, like for the injuries, and they helped, and they didn't really have any side effects, but they've been prescribed by the doctors, and they do the blood test and, the lab, and make sure that everything's fine. And it's been great. So that's why
how often does it come into the gym? Like, how often do people come into the gym and are like, tell me about peptides? You're a walking laboratory for fitness. Are you using peptides? Is that it like increasing right now? Is that why we're talking about this?
Not a lot, actually, because a lot of people don't really know about peptides. They don't even know what it is. They heard about the first peptide is the Ozempic that people heard about it, and they start asking questions about it because they didn't even know that even insulin is a peptide. That Ozempic is that's what peptide is. So they now start asking questions, what it is, what does it do, and stuff like that. Is it for me and stuff? So now people are more curious about it. So that's why it's coming to the light a lot more. And that because now all of a sudden it's being banned. It's like unforbidden fruit, and everyone wants to know why all of a sudden.
Well, I mean, it sounds like it's in the process of being unbanned, right? If we're looking at it, they're undoing, Biden era restrictions left and right. And so it seems like, if we look at Ozempic as the yardstick, your record alone, you just said that you're talking about these peptides in terms of these, letters and number combinations. Like the fact that they're still being used in compounding pharmacies exclusively is there's nothing branded yet. Nobody has taken hold of it and put money to it to be able to actually market it and sell it. As soon as some enterprising pharmaceutical company figures out how to get it approved and sold, it will be branded, right? You will be able to get this stuff
exactly,
done.
because it's not branded. When you get it from the compound pharmacies, the big pharma doesn't make any money out of it, so instead of they're not going to go after them and sue them and forever, it's just because it's going to cost them a lot of money. So it's easier to go to FDA, and then FDA just put a ban on it, and then they can just fight with the FDA and try to get it approved because it's not patent. And that's what the problem is.
Okay, so you said, you've broken your arm, you've got a bum shoulder, like you're recovering from injuries. And you said that you're going to start looking out for these. So just put yourself in my shoes. I'm curious about a peptide. What's step one? What are you going to do first?
Well, I have to talk to my doctor, see if I can get a prescription actually from her, and kind of get her opinion and see if I would be, if I qualify for that, if I would be a good patient for that. And I'll see with her, but I would love to, I wouldn't mind trying it and see what it does. I mean, everything that I put in my body, I do a lot of research. I don't put everything in my body. So I'm very specific, particular about that. But I'll be willing to try this. And from all the research and everything I've done, it seems pretty safe as long as, I work with her and I do the lab regularly and all that stuff. And, it's not something that I'm taking it forever. It just till it gets better. And then you stop. It's not like...
Yeah, that's important.
Yeah, I mean, I already take one drug that's from the compound pharmacy. It's HCG.
Yeah.
It's been fine. It's been great. I just did the lab last week and my results look great. Yeah, I'm taking HCG. I'm taking testosterone, which is actually hormone cells.
Yeah.
So I'm, taking all these drugs and those are just some stuff that I'm going to be taking for the rest of my life. This is not. This is just to kind of speed up and help the recovery.
Do you, so if I'm just looking at devil's advocate here, right? You want to recover before peptides are even a question. Like, is there really, do you feel like you have exhausted all the boring proven stuff that someone should do first? Right? Like, I'm looking for what are the red flags that you should be looking at that maybe, are you looking at them authentically? The reason you're getting this done.
It's just because I'm older and it takes a lot longer now to recover than, in my 20s. I was able to recover a lot faster. And yeah, I could take care of this without taking a peptide. Do a lot of physical therapy, do a lot of, just be patient and work on it. And it might take me maybe 4, 5, 6 months. This can fix the problem in like 2 months.
Yeah.
Maybe even less.
Why not explore the opportunity?
So why not? Yeah. How many times I know a lot of listeners have gone to the doctors and they had injuries where they get an injection the doctor will give them. and it will start feeling better and they'll recover a little faster, but they still have to go through physical therapy and all that stuff. So this is the thing. It just helps. It creates the better environment for healing. That's what the peptides do. So they don't directly do the thing. They just help create that environment. So I think that, doing that, there's really no harm in that. It's just, it will help my body heal faster and do the work. So
which of the peptides will make me smarter and prettier?
Is there I have to do the research on that one. I haven't done that one yet. I know there's one for skin. It will help your skin. It will probably make you prettier. There is for the brain too, and sleep, all that stuff.
All right. There was the Limitless movie. You remember the movie with Bradley Cooper? Is there a peptide for that? Is that what we're looking at?
Could be. Now that you mentioned it.
You guys, if you ever browsing the internet and you see an ad pop up for a peptide that will give you the limitless feeling, don't answer it. Don't click on it. That's not, we're not advocating. This is just a joke. Don't don't look at it. Turn away. I feel like, I'm probably the one that's more conservative between us on trying these things. But I think this is a pretty balanced way to approach it, right? Talk to your doctor first, figure out if you're a candidate for a peptide treatment, and see how it works. I have a hard time not exploring the things that we can do with our own bodies to improve performance and healing. Why not?
Yeah, I'm usually against a lot of supplements that are in the fitness industry and stuff like that, and I don't recommend them, and they're not needed, So, but I'm all for it when it comes to peptides.
Okay.
Most of them, like Ozempic, I had a little problem with that. People are using it for wrong reasons.
Yeah, you're on the record hardcore
as long as
Ozempic.
Exactly. So as long as you use them for the right reasons, that's fine. Don't use them for wrong reasons, for shortcuts and all that stuff. And you don't really need them. Mm-hmm. So unless you really need them and you qualify for that, that's why you go to the doctor and you get a prescription for them.
I think we didn't explode in this conversation. It's a hot topic, but we're okay. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us. And I hope this little primer on peptides gives you something to think about, certainly something to go talk to your doctor about. So glad you joined us today. If you've got questions about training or recovery or how to make strength work for you in your life, or if you just want to keep up with Surgeon's journey with peptides, we want to hear from you. Head to the show notes and just use the link to send us your questions for the coach. And don't forget to subscribe and share. This is how we grow stronger together. Thanks for listening to Build for Health, and we'll catch you next week in the gym.